Tim here from ZeroKey. In this video, we're going to set up quantum RTLS positioning at this assembly bench, and we're going to build a simple workflow using the workflow module in our spatial intelligence platform to build out work instructions that are going to guide us through an assembly process and automatically validate each step by tracking our hand movements and our tool position at the bench. So to start off, I've got 6 of our universal anchor devices. These are battery-powered anchors, and I'm going to be setting them up on the bench. I've placed them in such a way that at any point where we're doing this assembly workflow, we'll have good coverage from our anchor network to our hands over here as we're picking and placing parts, and then also the tool that we're going to be tracking. Next, we've got our gateway, and I'm going to plug it into my PC so we can calibrate the system. So I've got the ZeroKey config tool open. I'm going to connect to the gateway. And then we're also going to need one mobile device to do the calibration. I'm going to hit start, and as I move around, it collects measurements from multiple locations in the space where we're going to have positioning set up. So you can see I'm keeping it facing the bench, and we've hit 100% for all of our measurements that are required on the screen here, so I'll place it back. This is where it does the processing. It's going to take about 5 minutes to do this. So this is still running here, it's processing. I'm going to start setting up the rest of the demo. So I have a Culver Smart tool that we're going to be integrating. I've got that turned on and plugged into our network. I haven't even finished hooking this up and the calibration's already finished. We can now actually see the live positioning. And so as we move it around, you'll see the precision of the system is quite clear. And next, I'm going to set up our edge compute device and plug the gateway into it, and that will load our spatial intelligence platform. The edge compute device is turned on, and I've connected to the dashboard here from my PC. So this mobile device is going to be mounted on the tool so that we can track it. And then I've also got 2 of our wristbands as well. And I'll turn them on, and you'll see as soon as they turn on, they're also going to show up on the location view. And so we can see now on the location view here, all of the devices are actively positioning at our workbench. Now I'm going to go ahead and start creating the assembly workflow. So I'm going to go into Manage Workstations first, and I'm going to create a new workstation. Now I'm going to go into Manage Workflows, and I'm going to add a new workflow. So now our workflow is showing up here. I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to start adding in all the steps of this process. So if you have paper-based workflows already built, it's really easy to just take those step-by-step processes and create them as digital steps here in our workflow module. This is going to be a pick and place step, meaning that we're looking for a pick and a place. So there's 2 actions that are going to drive the digital work instructions. And after I add that, then I can add instructions for each of those sub-steps. Okay, so and as easy as that, we've now created this workflow with 6 pick and place steps and a bolt sequencing step. Now we're going to go ahead and set up the integration with our Culver Smart tools. Simply go to our integration, our open protocol tools. We're going to get the host address here by going into the settings on the Culver and seeing what its assigned IP address is, and we'll just enter that in. And now we can really quickly test that and see that the integration is working. So when I disable it here on the screen, you can see it's disabled on the controller. And when I enable it again, it immediately is enabled. Now I'm going to go into Manage Workstations, open the workflows, and assign this workflow that we just created. So essentially, we're training the station for this particular workflow. Then I simply put my hand in bin 1 and click Calibrate Zone, and now it's created a zone there. Then I'm also going to create a zone for the jig. So I put my hand as if I was placing the part and hit Calibrate Zone again and submit that calibration. And I'm going to go ahead and do that for all of the steps in this workflow. So now I'm on to the bolt sequencing step. We put it on, make sure it's exactly how it should be positioned when being used correctly, and hit Calibrate Zone. We're going to do that for all 4 bolts. Okay, and now our workflow is calibrated successfully for this particular bench. And again, if you had multiple workstations, you could now do that for multiple workstations so they all have a unique mapping of where everything at that particular workstation is. All right, so we've got the workflow we just built loaded up on screen here. I've got the wristbands on and the mobile on the tool, and I'm gonna go ahead and actually do this. And so you can see as I pick the part, it's detected automatically, and then as soon as I place it, it'll advance the steps. And so for each of these events reaching into the bin, it's not only validating that I'm reaching into the correct bin, but it's also capturing all of the information about the time it takes to complete each of these individual steps. And I can use both hands, I can go fast, I don't have to really baby the system, and it will do exactly what it's intended to do here. When I get to the bolt sequencing step, what's really cool is it actually locks the tool by default until I put it right on the bolt, then it'll be unlocked and I can go ahead and complete the steps. So you can see it's locked until I hit the correct bolt. So as soon as it goes into the correct bolt, now it's unlocked again. And as long as we see that the program here on the controller is showing that the torque was successfully reached, then it'll advance to the next step. And now that I'm done, you can see we get some analytics that are displayed automatically showing the cycle time, any deficiencies if we made mistakes along the way get logged, and all of the data that we've captured from this workflow is available through our system. So it actually only took us about an hour to set up the system, calibrate it, and build this simple workflow. It is a very simple workflow, but there's no limit to the number of workflows or steps that you can build with our workflow module. And as we saw, there's a lot of scalability too, where you can create multiple stations and assign workflows to individual stations, with each one having its own unique mapping. We can also do things like integrate with the light bins. That's simply added as an action to each step of the workflow as we're building it. And it's as easy as that to get a simple assembly station like this up and running with ZeroKey.